I'm Grace Gressett.
I'm Chase Poley.
I'm Liz Barron.
I'm Ellie Warren.
Oh, hello. I'm Anderson Cooper. Tonight on 60 Minutes, we'll be looking into the minds of citizens around the world. We asked
Some
representatives about their viewpoints on the international government's responsibility in environmental regulation. Let's take a look.
Thank you for having me. I personally believe that the international government has a huge role in environmental regulation. For example, the Flint water crisis. If the international government had set these standards, then maybe it would have been handled swiftly and with more severe impacts.
I absolutely do not think the government should have any power in environmental regulation. Doing this will set a bad precedent for what power they might be overstepping that is already assigned to them.
That's a great point. A lot of people are forgetting the fact that all governments are tyrannical and ultimately will fall to corruption. We need to keep the government from having the power over environmental regulations and, by extension, our lives.
Oh. Well, yes, the international government is enacting a lot of power by having global regulation, but the companies that are emitting the most carbon emissions towards climate change are these international companies. We need an international solution to an international problem.
I completely agree. Humans have such a large hand in creating climate change, therefore we need to be responsible for coming up with ways and a solution for curbing the effects of climate change. That's why international government needs to be implementing these standards.
Of course you need government environmental regulation, but if you wanted to see real change, you'd advocate for local or regional governments. Being able to cater directly to your citizens' needs is integral in effective legislation.
What a riveting perspective!
Well, Anderson, you see, if individual governments are in charge of implementing their own environmental regulation, then we have a large chance for government corruption. Therefore, the international government should deal with it. It's a world issue.
Man, corporations are ruining our lives. These countries that have the big corporations are putting pollution in the places that have the most poverty. These people deserve good lives, good jobs, and to live prosperously.
Good point, Andy. But we need to be focusing less on what the government can do and more on technological advancements. Technology far surpasses the ability of the government, and it helps us to avoid polarizing issues.
Maybe the reason it looks like technology is benefiting climate change is because climate change doesn't exist. You talk about these corrupt governments and poverty, don't you realize that it's these same governments using environmental scares to distract from real economic issues? Agreeing to disagree, are we?
I agree that all the hullabaloo about global warming is unnecessary, but the way you're approaching it is incorrect. The Earth has natural fluctuations in everything from temperature to ocean levels, and anyone that dies off from global warming is actually just catering to the process of natural selection.
I think whether or not we care about human existence, we can all agree that we need to save the animals. I mean, everyone's thoughts turn to the polar bears. Climate change is affecting them. If we don't have the globe working together to save the animals, then absolutely nobody will.
I'd like us to touch more on the economic side of things.
Rightly so. Giving the government mandate over places that they don't even live would be an economic nightmare. These slow global changes are not enough to justify completely bogging down profitable businesses that are giving real people real jobs.
Talking about jobs, the agricultural business, if we take the climate change along with the resource deficit that is caused by the climate change, agricultural jobs are being lost at a great rate.
Great perspectives. Now that we've heard from all our representatives, let's address some proposed resolutions. Our analysts are considering the following. The international government implements some baseline restrictions on carbon emissions, waste control, etc., and the rest is region-specific.
I think this is a practical answer to the topic at hand, but not necessarily effective enough. The only way we can control and hopefully reverse some of the environmental damage that we have done is limit big business. I'm looking at you, Koch brothers.
The need for environmental regulation is too great to be worried about the consequences of this resolution. The gains from this resolution is really good. We get to have something being done about global warming, which is a huge problem in the world.
Environmental regulation is something that we need to look at, but we're going about it the wrong way. Local, individualized government is always the best at making comprehensive, effective legislation. And also, if we enter into some sort of international agreement, that could lead to conflict that we don't want to be a part of. Over giving the government way too much power? No thanks.
Oh, you don't say.
There's no such thing as a solution to a non-issue. Global warming is overhyped, probably by corrupt governments, and anything that does happen is probably beneficial.
Well, that's all the time. Approximately 60 minutes, actually. Thank you for joining us for this fascinating topic. Join us next time when we discuss
Syrian refugees.